Hey, Martin,
Hey, Matt.
I've got a quick yay or nay for you. Ready?
Yes.
Going on the offensive with your 1-star reviews. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay. I think I'm a nay in this one. Um, but first, tell me, why are you a yay?
Sometimes I feel like customers need to be educated a little bit, and they used the review system sometimes as a way to try and get back at you for something you may or may not have done. And to me, it feels like that's not the place to do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Especially when you're commenting on a premium plugin, but the WordPress repository where this happened is for the free plugins.
absolutely. I've sometimes have called those extortion reviews. They're using the review system to get something out of you in one form or another.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
I hate those. So it's definitely terrible. I think I'm a nay, though, because there's definitely ways in which people are being just terrible. And I think we need to stand up for ourselves as small businesses for sure. But often they're expressing their disappointment that might be legitimate. They still have a legitimate gripe underneath all of the garbage. And other times, other people are pre-sales folks or pre-user folks are going to be looking at your response to these 1-star reviews. And if you come across too aggressive or argumentative or defensive, then they kind of are like, I don't know if I like working with these people.
That's
Kind of,
true.
I don't know. I feel like it's safer to always try to be above board, but man, I really sympathize with the pain point though. Let's jump into it because this yay or nay was inspired by your tweet, which got lots of really fun attention recently. Tell us a little bit about this tweet in particular.
Yeah. So Christian shared a tweet, I think, the week before I shared mine, where he also shared a screenshot on his reply to a customer saying that his add-ons were too expensive. And he was firm but correct and just explaining step by step why his pricing was the way it was. So then he made a tweet about that screenshot and he said, something along the lines of, you don't always have to be super nice to your customer and it's okay to educate them. And so that's why I decided to make this tweet, because only a week later, I got in the same type of thing on the repository where there was a customer that was clearly angry and making false accusations.
Yeah.
And so I decided to do the same. I wrote a firm reply, and at the end of my reply, I got maybe a little bit too personal, but it fit really well with what Christian was saying in his tweet earlier. So I decided to tag him and then tweet the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I read this review, beware of predatory billing, I was like, oh my gosh, does this guy even know Martin? There's no way that Martin would ever be like this. And that's so much of a part of the issue. There's just some person on the other end of a keyboard that they just think these plugin authors are not actual humans. And so that phrase right there, predatory billing, that just irked me so much. I was like, there's no way that that's the situation here. And then he says recurrent charges without warning. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like everybody knows how recurring licensing works. And I'm certain that Martin has done his due diligence. What I like about what you do here is like factually, you're saying, this is how I tried to educate you about the recurring charges everywhere in my website, in my emails. Like you're really clear about the fact that you're not doing anything predatory. You're just trying to lay it out straight. I think you do a great job of the educating part here for sure. On top of that, we send reminder emails. Like, honestly, that's another yay or nay we could do at some point. Email reminders about upcoming renewals. That's actually a little bit divisive in the plugin space.
Definitely yay for me, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a separate discussion.
Yeah. And then I love how you say, we will happily refund you if your renewal was accidental. Like there's no problem here. If you didn't like the charge, then let us know. We'll fix it. I think that one speaks really well to what I was saying earlier about like other folks are reading your replies here. And if you're saying, we'll refund you, no problem, like that's going to give them a lot of trust.
And I wanted to include that bit because I did think about other people might read that. And I do refund, because there are some WordPress companies that don't refund renewals, but I do refund them because I understand that people just forget to cancel, and then all of a sudden they see the charge. So I have no issues with refunding. So I wanted to let him know, but this customer in particular, he never asked for a refund. He just went straight to launching a dispute, which he probably doesn't know, but this costs us money. We have to pay an extra fee on the dispute. So that's why I included that bit there.
Yep, absolutely. That's another topic. Do you actually try to fight disputes or not? A lot of folks feel like there's not enough revenue in the disputes to really fight them. But as you grow and scale, there really is. And you're right. So many people just go straight to the dispute instead of actually reaching out. And they're so frivolous very often. And they're harmful. They hurt your reputation with your payment gateway. I think that's super helpful to educate too. I think now we start to move into a little bit more of the defensive or argumentative parts. Like you say here, let me tell you, I have zero tolerance for reviews like this. This is clearly your fault. As we do everything possible to let you know in the billing structure beforehand. I mean, I think you did everything you can do. Like in my mind, I'm always thinking, you know what? I feel like I say it everywhere I possibly can say, but we still have customers who constantly say, oh, I didn't notice that it's a renewal. I didn't see that it was going to happen again. I didn't get those emails. They went to my spam. No matter how much I try, customers are still telling me that they didn't know. Sometimes I'm like, that sounds pretty weak. Other times I'm just like, I don't know what else I need to do. They're clearly not getting the message. But you're really like, no, man, this is on you, not me.
Yeah, this is the part where it was a little personal for me and I got caught up in my reply. But I understand that this is the more aggressive part of the reply. And I could have kept it there, because I did everything. I summed up all the facts. And so future readers would have known, that I was not trying to scam them out of any renewal payments. But yeah, it was stronger than myself. And so I added that because I also looked at his profile before writing the reply. And he had a lot of negative things to say on various threads on the WordPress repository. So it felt like he would never go out of his way to write a positive review or just a nice reply. It was always very short, very to the point, and very negative. And so that got the better of me. And then I added that to my reply.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's see some of the responses from the community. AJ, good response, Maarten. I have zero issues with honest reviews, which aren't 5-star. But some people just do not get the amount of effort we put into things as a developer. I totally agree. He's totally right. Like, folks just think that you're some weekend developer eating chips and typing away. You don't understand that we're like business people trying to make things work and building good stuff. Zoran here says, oh man, I'm always frustrated when I see stuff like this. Great response. I'm totally for saying it when companies are predatory, but at least be sure that that's the case before you go hard on someone. That's a good point. Like, he's really calling out that this guy really called you predatory and clearly didn't do his due diligence on whether or not that was actually true or not.
Yeah, and I agree. If it is true, then you can call it out in the reviews because that's what they're there for. So that's fine. But yeah, you have to be sure that what you're saying is effectively true.
Yep, absolutely. Like, we definitely have implemented things occasionally in different ways that accidentally, honestly, looked misleading or misguiding in one way or another. And people called us out really aggressively in one way or another. And in those circumstances, I have to own it and be like, oh crap, we didn't do this right. And it ended up looking terrible. That's a mea culpa for sure.
Yeah. And if you own it, it shows that you're on a learning curve as well. And that you're, just trying things out and you can learn from your mistakes.
Yep. It looks like he's angry. He lost it. So you did dispute his dispute and you won the dispute. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And so did he write this review after losing the dispute?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's another due diligence. It's like, well, why did you lose the dispute? It's because this was a perfectly legitimate charge.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let's see. Hug I don't know Hug. I've always liked when plugin emails a week or so before a recurring payment charge. It can really cut down on the amount of refunds you have to do as well. Oh, there's that subject again.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I send 2 reminders myself. I think one is at 7 days and one is at 2 days. And still, like you said, still people will have missed those or they go to spam. But I do think it's just a good way of doing business too, because it shows the customer that you're not silently taking their money, but you
Exactly.
offer them ways to cancel at any point in the journey.
Yeah. And I definitely think having to refund a renewal is a much worse experience than having a cancellation happen before the renewal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
James Wells from Stellar WP. You shouldn't be allowed to leave a review of 3 or fewer stars if you haven't submitted a request on the support forum first. That's an interesting idea. What's your take on that?
So I don't agree with that, because if we make mistakes as authors of plugins, people should be able to call us out on that, and they shouldn't first have to do something else. So I get where he's coming from, because people do use the 1-star way too quickly, I think.
Yeah.
So I get why he's saying it, but I don't agree that there should be a condition for users to leave a 1-star review.
Yeah. Well, if they built it that way, what would happen next is like support ticket, 1-star review.
Yes.
Back to back.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Folks who want to do extortion reviews, they're going to do it one way or another. So, let's see. Krishna says, this is so real. I get to face a few unsupported free users as well. Like this one, for example, my plugins don't even add any notices or bloatware that would hinder in uninstalling or dealing with plugins. But he got, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, that's again, people not doing their due diligence, right? And they just jump to a bad or like an angry email in this case, maybe, and then just making accusations that aren't true. So it's all about just do a little bit of due diligence, make sure that what you're saying is correct, and then we can all go about our day.
Yep, absolutely. Neil, hi. Really sorry to see this happen to you. I appreciate that empathy, especially on Twitter. Did you contest this with the mods? I believe you may have a case here. Honestly, the moderators, they hate seeing extortion reviews too, especially when they're completely unfounded. I have definitely seen them remove 1-star reviews that were completely unfounded or about something not related to the free plugin at all, things like that. Did you reach out to them about this one?
I did, yeah. At first I didn't, because I thought that they wouldn't delete it, because usually their stance is it's a public forum where people can voice their opinion. If that's their opinion, then, so be it. But then Mihai said this, and maybe I should actually just try it. And I did, and they removed it because they agreed with the point of view. So I just said, my main point of view was that this isn't even about the free version, because this user is just clearly upset about the payment that he makes for the pro version. So, and they must have agreed, because without any other methods, they just deleted the review. So,
absolutely.
So it does work. Yeah,
it does. I appreciate that. I definitely have reached out before. I would say, as advice to anybody who feels like they've been treated unjustly on the forum, don't go into the meta channel and be like, you have to remove this review because they're terrible and blah, blah, blah. Like, if you go in aggressively and demanding that things get removed, that's not going to go over well. The moderators are moderators with good judgment for reasons. And so go in open-minded, open-handed, saying like, hey, folks, what do you think about this one? It, to me, feels a little bit over the line. Let them make the judgment call. I always find that helps a ton. So,
yeah, that's good advice. Yeah.
Let's see. We got a lot here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but typical case of Criticus Maximus Negativus.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Thrives on leaving scathing reviews even when the fault lies in his own lap. Uniquely skilled in the art of blaming everything but his own actions. Navigates the world with a magnifying glass for errors, ignoring the mirror at all.
That was spot on. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that was a good reply.
Yeah. Wow. That fits.
Yeah, it does
really well. Fair response. Maybe next time will be different for them. I'm not so hopeful.
That's what I hope. But you're right. You probably won't change their point of view. You're more replying for future readers than you are replying to try and change their point of view.
Yeah. I am really impressed by all of the very positive feedback you got. Like, how did you feel about everybody really being like, absolutely, Martin, great work?
I didn't really think about it before I got it, but I was surprised. And I talked with my partner about it afterwards. And she was actually the one saying, like, I actually think that you were a little too aggressive. Like, I agree with what you said. And it's not like your response is not bad or anything. But I do think that the last part was too aggressive and was unnecessary. You could have just, left that out and you would have gotten a very good reply. And so then I started thinking and realizing that she's actually right. And even though it should be possible for me to call this out, obviously I said yay to it. So I still agree with that. So I am surprised in hindsight that people are reacting very positively to my tweet. And I think there's nobody saying like, you could have done this differently.
I think the WordPress plugin community, all the plugin authors, they all sympathize. They see that review and they're like, oh, geez, those are the worst. They've all experienced it.
Yeah.
And they're all
It's a
like,
frustration.
oh, yeah, let's wrap it up with Christian being accused of this crappy part where they're trying to convince others you're the negative character. The review section has been weaponized in the last few years by some users. I'm going to say it's not the last few years. It's always been that way. It's just the volume is getting higher. I do get that they might be overwhelmed, same as us, but we've all got stuff going on in our lives for sure. They didn't read the terms of service and now you don't like it. You never asked if this feature is there and just assumed. You call others thieves and predators and expect to get your way. Not anymore. Big up for educating them. So Christian obviously loves everything about your response.
We agree on the way we do things. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really impressed and happy that you did some reflection afterwards with your partner and that she was like, you're totally legitimate to respond in all these ways, but maybe got a little too much at the end there. Some folks don't like to overthink these things, but my whole shtick is customer experience. And I do find tons of value in postmortems of every single 1-star review. We have a whole system we go through. We have a template for a postmortem for 1-star review. And we say, is there anything we could have done to prevent this from happening in the first place? And we analyze our responses before we reply. And if we make it worse, then we analyze that. In many ways, it's a little bit of a micro optimization, honestly. But over years of doing this, I see it has piled up to what I feel like is a really excellent machine that deals with all of our customers really, really well.
In hindsight, this could have gone a little different. And it would still be a valid reply and I would still be educating the person, but I would be more open to other people reading that review in the future and they would not get scared of my offensive tone, which is a fair point.
Excellent. Any last thoughts or words or where can people find you, Maarten?
I'm very active on Twitter and they can find my plugins at studiowombat.com and just have a quick look. And then they can also go through to the repository where my free plugins are to take a look at the reviews that I do get.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Thank you.